I've been a Windows guy my whole life, but when Apple released a $500 laptop, the MacBook Neo, I saw it as my entrance into the world of Mac OS. But this would be a pretty big purchase for me, so I thought about it, and the crazy thing is, this thing surprised me in ways I genuinely did not expect. I'll be giving a different perspective on this laptop than what you see on all the other reviews on YouTube. Now, I got the higher storage version for Touch ID, but you'll see in a second why that's probably a good idea. The MacBook Neo's target audience is normal people doing light work or school. This is my Razer Blade 15 that I'm using right now. It's a very powerful machine meant for gaming, heavy video editing, and whatnot. But using the MacBook Neo for 3 weeks now, I didn't feel a huge need to game on it. It just felt too underwhelming to me. The video where I try to game on it will be right below the like button. So what about video editing? Premiere pretty much flies through whatever I throw at it. I made parts of the first impressions video with this computer and had no issues at all. If you're making content on your phone or just want a machine for light edits, I would recommend picking this up. Though if you've never edited on Mac OS before, I'd use Final Cut because it's made exclusively for Mac OS and probably runs better than anything else on the market. Now, the part that I haven't heard anyone talk about is how great of an iPhone replacement this computer is. When it was around, I picked up the Neo a lot more than I did my phone, and there's way more friction into being sucked into doom scrolling. Plus, it has all my iPhone apps on it already. When you're on a computer, you feel more of an urge to get actual work done, even if the tools are already available on your phone, like video editing. Now, if we want to get to the bottom of what the Neo is actually being sold for, we need to look at how Apple makes money. 8% of all of Apple's revenue is from the Mac, but surprisingly, 25% is made from Apple's paid apps and subscription services. Apple is selling the MacBook Neo to sell you Apple Music, iCloud, Apple TV, and Creator Studio. Lots of people buying a Mac are going to fill up their storage quickly and get iCloud. Alongside Apple services, Apple also lets you iMessage on Mac OS without an iPhone. They know if you start texting people with iMessage on Mac and then get an iPhone, then you'll never switch back. The MacBook Neo is a product that eases you into the Apple ecosystem. But the third and most important thing it's selling is Mac OS, the software itself. Now that the Mac Neo is the cheapest in the lineup, it lets more people experience Mac OS than ever. The software feels very polished. I love the consistent design across literally everything. Liquid glass is just a sprinkle on top for me, and all of my Apple devices played very nicely with the Mac. It's really hard to find broken animations on Mac OS, and when they're not needed, they aren't used. Unlike on Windows, a lot of very core animations feel laggy and therefore inconsistent. And the biggest selling point of Mac OS, the ecosystem. My AirPods connected instantly, and the switching between my iPhone when I played a video on it, then pause to play music on my Mac works incredibly. iMessage on Mac OS is really useful. Not only is it fast and works right out of the box, but it lets me throw my phone somewhere else while still keeping up with important notifications that I'd often miss. Now, most people won't tell you about this, but you can actually use iMessage on Windows with software like Open Bubbles, Blue Bubbles, or AirMessage, which will actually just use a one-time code from your Mac to get iMessages from your account. But it's just not as seamless as iMessage, which connects to your actual phone to let you text green and blue bubbles. Another strong holding point for the macOS ecosystem is AirDrop. I actually don't really care about AirDrop because the Blip app does the same thing better and works with all my devices. I've had zero issues with it. Copying and pasting from my iPhone to my Mac actually has been useful a couple of times. Now, the reason that I got Touch ID is because Apple has so many prompts to use Touch ID for advanced tasks. I ask a lot of my computer, so this happens way more than you'd think. Something that also happens way more than you think is people glossing over the subscribe button. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers, but only subscribe if you're genuinely enjoying the video. Now for battery life. The laptop I've been using has criminally bad battery life. For me, even if I try to squeeze out as much as possible, an hour 30 minutes is the most I've gotten out of it. And that was with one app open and battery saver mode. Yeah, this laptop lives forever, doc. But the Neo was getting through the day easily. The laptop is best described to me as an iPad with a huge screen and a keyboard. So if you like your iPhone 15 and up's battery, you'll be super satisfied. The build quality of the Neo is also a giant part of the laptop experience. This is the most satisfying laptop keyboard you'll ever type on. It sounds great. And for the trackpad, it lets you click no matter where you press down on. So even if I move my finger to the corners of the mouse pad, it still lets me click. And when you drag something, your hand will never slip. All these things my flagship Razer Blade doesn't have, and this is where the Neo really surprises me. My Razer Blade keyboard feels mushy, the trackpad is straight awful, and slips when you drag, and has one press point in the middle. Using my Razer's trackpad for too long hurts my finger, which the Neo doesn't do. All this together, it makes the Neo a fantastic and frankly satisfying laptop to use. It's also super light, so you can take this with you anywhere, and the performance is the same, unplugged or not. The Neo is just so fun to me. I really use my Razer as a desktop so much that simple tasks like moving it closer to the router to download stuff quicker was a chore. But with the Neo, I find myself using it wherever I want, instead of just keeping it at my desk.